Welcome back to one of the Bears Run Plays YouTube channel. It is Saturday, November 16th, and I'm back breaking down some more college football. We've got some good SEC games, but not the best slate of games out there. Going to do my best. We have 6 total game picks, 3 total player props, 9 plays in total before that. Let's take a look at the plays from Friday night. Arizona and Houston still going on right now. Made an executive decision to watch Tyson and Jake Paul fight. I wasn't, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I basically, it's like, because you can just tell Mike Tyson's still he's just a bad man. But it's like he knew what he wanted to do. He still knows what he's doing out there, but the A button's stuck, and his body just won't let him. He just won't let him fight. But yeah, is what it is. That's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I don't think it was fixed anymore because Mike Tyson, I don't know, just the way he acted. But yeah. Watch the Jake Paul fight instead of the Arizona game. I turned it off after Houston got stuffed on the 1 3 times. It is 17-3 currently. Houston does have the ball. They're driving right now in the third quarter, but I'm not very hopeful. I'm not very hopeful right now. I had Houston money line. Noah Fafita over 237.5 passing. Going to be close. I think he's at 185, I think, right now in the third quarter, so probably going to be close there. And then Chandler Morris over 343.5. North Texas took a shit all over the field tonight. UTSA was a better team. Chandler Morris is basically Jordan Love 2.0. He just throws it down the field no matter what. And if it's a catch, it's a catch. If it's an interception, it's an interception. He doesn't care. He just throws the ball no matter what. And tonight it was more interceptions than good. So bad play there for Chandler Morris. I don't even know if he notched 200 yards through the year. So definitely going to be an 0-1 day. We've got a chance with Nova Fida. I don't know if we have a chance with Houston, but currently 0-1 right now. I will update that leaderboard tomorrow after we get done with these Saturday plays to look at. We have LSU going up against Florida for the first play. Neither one of these teams really playing for anything. LSU, they lost their season last week in that embarrassment to Alabama. I guess we can say that Napier's coaching for his job, but the organization came out and said that he's safe for the rest of the season and next season. That's because of DJ Lagway, I think. He recruited him. DJ Lagway is going to leave if he leaves. You can't do that for a quarterback. That's just my opinion. But yeah, the Gators, they're going to be bad probably next year if Billy Napier comes back. I'm going to take the Gators, though, in this game. +4. I think they win this game outright. LSU, they lost everything in the last game. They're playing for pride. Brian Kelly's done a horrific job with this LSU team. One of the worst coaches going from Notre Dame to LSU. I mean, he couldn't have done a worse job with this LSU team this season. And LSU does have a lot of problems with mobile quarterbacks. We've seen it twice in a row against Texas A&M, against Alabama. And I did say in that LSU game, if Alabama were to win, it'd be off the running of Jalen Milroe, and he had 4 touchdowns. So LSU defense, they can't stop anything. They can't stop a mobile quarterback. DJ Lagway going to have himself a good day here. I'm going to take LSU +4 as the first play. For the next play of the day, we're going to be looking at Nebraska going up against USC. Nebraska +7.5 to play. Dana Holgerson, the new offensive coordinator for Nebraska, he's going to fix everything in this offense. They're going to look great tomorrow. Don't know how USC is even favorites in this game. They benched Miller Moss last week. Miller Moss, not the problem. The coaching is the problem. The play calling is the problem. Everything but Miller Moss has been the problem. He's got the occasional turnover problem, sure, but it's not his fault that the play calls are horrible. Not his fault that his teammates let him down sometimes. It's not his fault that the defense has looked horrible this season for the most part. So why bench your best player? He's easily your best player. I'm taking Nebraska with the points here. I think the offense will look a lot better with the new OC taking over there for the final graphic play today. We're going to look at Tennessee going up against Georgia. I've been wrong about Georgia a couple times. Was not wrong last week as we had Ole Miss on the money line. Ole Miss kind of gave it to Georgia because Carson Beck continues to look really bad. I do think that Georgia will be able to play good enough defensively in this game, potentially blow out Tennessee, because it looks like Nico's not going to play. Nico had a concussion. Even if he does play in this game, I don't think he can move the ball down the field. He hasn't been very good all season long besides going up against teams like Kent State at the beginning of the season. Nico, if he plays, probably going to be -7.5. If he doesn't play, I can see this maybe -10 tomorrow morning. But no matter what, we're going to take Georgia here. George Kirby, after a loss. Nobody believes in us. Nobody believes in us. You're Georgia, dude. You got the best recruits. You got the best players. You got the best talent in basically college football. You're never an underdog, okay? Just relax. I'm still going to take Georgia here. Tennessee defense, fantastic. That's the only thing I give them credit for. They're most likely going to be able to stop Georgia sometimes whenever they're on offense. But I think the Georgia defense can just dominate this Tennessee team, especially if Tennessee can't run the ball with Sampson. So I'm going to take Georgia here. -7.5 is the play. Played up to -10 if Nico doesn't play tomorrow. Let's go to the player props for tomorrow, and we are going to look at Dylan Gabriel as the first play of the day. Wisconsin going up against Oregon, over 266.5 passing yards. It looked like Wisconsin was going to be back after rattling off 3 consecutive wins, but they are going back to their old selves, giving up a ton of points and a ton of yards over the last 2 games. Oregon's coming in as the number 1 team in the country. Oregon is coming in with the best offense in the country. They are going to do whatever they want in this game against this Wisconsin defense. I think, gun to my head right now, Oregon's the best team in the nation. I know they're ranked number 1, but sometimes the team that's ranked number 1, according to the polls, is not really the number 1 team. Oregon feels like they're the number 1 team. They're battle-tested. They beat Ohio State, who I think is the number 2 team in the nation, but that's a different story. We're going to take Dillon Gabriel here, over 266.5 passing yards. He can get it in the first half. Oregon just needs to be aggressive in this game on the play calling. Dillon Gabriel, he's got a ton of targets out there. Tez Johnson, he's going to be an NFL wide receiver in a couple of years anyway. So I like him here, over 266.5 passing yards, going up against Wisconsin team who has not looked over the last couple of games. And for the next play of the day, we're going to be looking at the BYU Cougars going up against the Kansas Jayhawks. BYU is playing with fire. They've been playing with fire for the last 3 weeks. They're trying to end their season, having a perfect record, winning the Big 12 title. There's potential that the Kansas Jayhawks knock out BYU here because Kansas, they've been playing a lot better over the last couple games. They've been playing well in the season, but the Jayhawks continue to lose games in the fourth quarter. They might lose another game in the fourth quarter here going up against BYU because every time Jake Ratzliff is in the fourth quarter and he needs a touchdown, he usually gets it. We're going to go with Jake Ratzliff here, over 228.5 passing yards against the Jayhawks. First of all, this number is way too low for Jake, and BYU, they don't throw the ball a ton, which, might hurt us in the end here for this player prop, but he's got a ton of top-tier targets to throw to. Lassiter and Chase Roberts, those are the guys you're looking for this game. Maybe take them for over their receiving yards, but that Kansas secondary, they're getting beaten up over the last couple games. They've given up a 246.8 yards per game to opposing teams. Iowa State, they lost by double-digit points, but Rocco, he had himself nearly 400 passing yards against the Jayhawks last week for the Cyclones. So I like BYU here. I like them to continue the perfect season. I like Jake to go over 228.5 passing yards as the second play of the day. And for the final play of the day, we're going to look at Arizona State going up against Kansas State. This has potential to be one of the best games on Saturday, maybe the best game on Saturday. We're going to be looking at one of the most used running backs in college football, Cam Skattebo, over 89.5 rushing yards going up against the Wildcats. Kind of funny when I was researching these stats, Kansas State and Kansas both giving up 246.8 passing yards per game. Thought that was pretty funny. They're right next to each other. But other than that, I was looking at Kansas State. They're pretty good on the ground. They're only giving up 107.4 rushing yards per game. I just don't think that's going to matter because Arizona State, they're going to run the ball 20-plus times no matter what. Cam Skattebo is coming off one of his normal games this season. 23 touches, 153 yards, had a rushing touchdown, 2 receiving touchdowns as well. This guy, it doesn't matter what you do to him. He's going to touch the ball probably 70% of the time whenever Arizona State's on the field. He is closing in on 200 carries this year. His lowest carries over the last 7 games for Arizona State was 17. So we can expect at least 17 carries most likely in this game going up against Kansas State. He's had over 150 rushing yards in 3 of the last 4 games that he's been in, and he's also found the end zone in every game but 1 this year. That was against Mississippi State. And he didn't find the end zone, but he had nearly 300 rushing yards. He's already cracked the 1,000-yard mark as well. I just think he's going to be a massive impact in this game against K-State. I'm going to take him over 89.5 rushing yards as the final play. Let's go over to the recap graphic. We have 3 more games we're going to talk about. Short, sweet, and to the point here. Missouri is the worst SEC team in the conference. Plain and simple. They're the worst top 25 teams I think we've ever seen in our entire lives. They don't have a quarterback. The defense has not been very good this season. They were okay at the beginning of the season. Now they're not very good. This is a double-digit loss for Missouri. South Carolina going to roll here, take them minus 13.5 to play. For the next play, we're going to be looking at KU going up against BYU. I said this previously about BYU. They're playing with fire, but I still think they can show up and show out in this game. They could have lost to Baylor. They could have lost to Utah. They could have lost to Arizona. They could have lost going up against all those teams, and despite all the troubles they've had, it's much like the Chiefs in the NFL. It's the fourth quarter when it matters. You have a drive for BYU that they have to deliver. That's what Kansas City Chiefs do all the time. We see it almost every single week now. That's why they're 9-0 in the season. BYU delivers in the clutch moments. I'm going to take them in this game to continue their undefeated season. BYU on the money line as the play. And for the final play of the day, this one I'm going to talk about just a little bit more. Arizona State going up against Kansas State. Both teams coming into this game 7-2 record. Both these teams technically still alive in the Big 12 race. And this is going to be a massive game. Loser of this game, done for the year. Winner of this game, chance to win the title. Arizona State's looking for their 3rd consecutive win. They're playing really good football right now. Kansas State, on the other hand, coming off a loss to Houston, maybe the worst loss of the season for them, for any Big 12 team. They were a 13-point favorite in that game. They lost that one. That really hurt their chances for a Big 12 title. You can't look at the past if you're a K-State fan or a KU player, or a K-State player, I should say. You're still scoring 31.2 points per game. The defense has been pretty good, 21.7 points per game. You're going to be at home, at night, and this is a game you have to win. But I don't think they can do it. I think Arizona State might take this game out. I'm going to take the points as the play. I think Arizona State is going to run the ball 30-plus, maybe even 40-plus times in this game, depending on how long they have the ball in their hand. They're averaging nearly 200 rushing yards per game. It's going to be against a tough Kansas State team who doesn't allow a lot of rushing yards on the season, but they have Cam Skattebo, 5'11", 230 pounds. Skattebo hitting the A-hole on the train tracks. It's going to be a long night for Kansas State, I think. I'm taking Arizona State with the points. Should be a really fun game to watch there. So all the plays in total: Florida +4, Nebraska +7.5, Georgia -7.5. If Nico does not play, that's probably going to bounce up to 10, 10.5, 11.5. We'll cut it at 11.5. I think let's cut it at 12.5. 13-point game. That's doable for Georgia. They can win that game by 20+ if Nico doesn't play, but we'll cut that at 12.5. South Carolina is going to be -13.5. Just checked it a little bit ago. Arizona State +7.5 going up against K-State, and then BYU on the money line. We have Dylan Gabriel over 266.5 passing yards against Wisconsin. Cam Skattebo over 89.5 rushing yards going up against K-State, and then Jake Ratzliff over 228.5 passing yards going up against the Jayhawks. Guys, that's going to do it for the NCAA football plays and props for Saturday, November 16th slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.